Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I go from this to this, studying Kohei Horikoshi, the creator of My Hero Academia. Let's get into some studies, everyone! Alright everybody, welcome back to another art studies video for Kohei Horikoshi. I'm actually really excited about this illustration, and I'm so glad it turned out the way it did. For those of you that follow me on social media, you've already seen the final product, so I'm excited to show you guys how it got to that point by studying some of Kohei's work. So, how to color manga backgrounds, or anime backgrounds, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing. We will be breaking this video down into two parts. The first part is Kohei Horikoshi's style for backgrounds, and then the second part will be a mixture of my final thoughts and my personal experience using this technique with the illustration you're seeing now. So, Kohei Horikoshi and background art. Most people don't think about background art when they think about Kohei. They think about, his amazing cast of characters, his amazing cast of villains, and the overall amazing story of My Hero Academia. But if you are an aspiring manga artist or even an anime illustrator, I encourage you to look at some artists, including Kohei, but also kind of break down their art. Like we've been studying so far, really go in depth with studying them and find all the little details on what they do. From clothes to backgrounds to misc items like trees, cars, and that kind of stuff, to even background characters, because all of that, when you really break it down and look at it, there's so much you can learn and incorporate into your own art. It's kind of scary because people overlook it because they just see, they see Deku in the middle and they're like, oh, this picture's amazing. But they don't see the seagull or like the cloud in the top left corner that's equally just as amazing as Deku. So, quick summary, study all of the piece, not just the main characters or the side characters, because there's a lot you can learn just from studying the little details of any art. So, let's look at some of Kohei's pieces for his background work that I drew inspiration from, and I personally just love in general, and let's see how he colors his backgrounds. So, the first thing that I picked up on when I started studying Kohei recently for backgrounds and characters and for color in general is simple can be just as impactful as detailed. And I've noticed while studying Kohei, he picks one or the other. So if he's doing heavily detailed characters, whether it's shading, whether it's clothes, whether it's hair, the background and what's behind the image, not just background. I don't want you guys to think backgrounds equal buildings and trees. It could be anything. It could be another character. It could be pages from the actual manga. It could be whatever. Those designs for the background are very simple. And it also goes vice versa. If he's doing a very detailed background, I've noticed that the characters sometimes are very simply colored, maybe with either a 1 or 2-tone. He doesn't really go like really in depth on the characters if the background is more, I guess, important in terms of the overall composition. So some of the images that I'm showing on the screen now, you can see a mix between very detailed backgrounds and very simple backgrounds, and the same for characters, very detailed color for the characters or very simple version of the characters. And if you all are studying Kohei with me through this journey, keep that in mind, that simple can be just as impactful as detailed, and you can mix the two together. But what you don't want is you don't want to have a very detailed character and a very detailed background, unless you know how to bridge that gap and make it to where the character can still stand off on his own. So after studying many illustrations by Kohei, not just for characters but also for backgrounds, I decided to go with a more simple approach. So as you can see on the screen, I'm doing everything in gray first, getting all the shadows done, getting all the kind of like roughs of where I want colors to be, and then I started to go in adding color, like the green for the pipes that you're seeing. And then as the illustration progresses, as you can see, I'm adding the browns for the walls. I'm going in and I'm kind of adding things after the grays, which I normally don't do. When I normally color, I kind of just hop right in and I start coloring things the colors that I want them. So this process was different for me, and honestly it did help, because once I got all the grays down and laid everything out and then added everything else on a multiply layer, it really saved me time and stress trying to just, instead of trying to make everything the color it needed to be, I started from a good foundation, is what I'm saying. On the screen now, you're seeing the original image by Kohei Horikoshi that he illustrated beautifully, that I took inspiration from in terms of coloring for backgrounds. This illustration, when I saw it originally, number one, it's super dynamic. I love the perspective. I love the characters. Man, it's just like, I wish I could come up with things like this just out of the top of my head. But outside of that, the coloring for the backgrounds was done very, very simply. I guess that's the word, simplistically, simply. I don't know the actual word. You get what I'm saying. But it was done in a way that brought life to the characters that were in the image, and it wasn't overdone, because all of the characters in My Hero Academia are already so vibrant as they can be, because obviously Deku is this kind of weird green. You have like Kaminari, which is like this bright yellow. You have what's his name? Tetsu. No, that's the metal guy. Red Riot. The Red Riot. He's super red. All Might's blonde. You understand? They're super vibrant. And I love the way that he kind of just simplified the background just enough so that way your eyes are drawn to the characters rather than the background art. But me being a manga artist, my eyes are drawn everywhere because I'm just like, man, this is amazing. I'm trying to do stuff like this. So as I'm going through this journey of studying Kohei with you guys, not just me, but with you guys, just keep in mind that simple can be better. Everything doesn't have to be as detailed as the character, and vice versa. And I think if we can remember that kind of motto, say some motto for the series, I think we're all going to benefit from this official study series for Kohei a lot more than you might think you will. So now we're in the second part of the video, my final thoughts mixed with how I think this technique worked. First and foremost, I think this technique worked amazing just for my style, because as you all know, or you might not know because you might be new to the channel, you know now, because I'm about to tell you, my style for digital is, in my opinion, I think it's completely different than my style traditionally. Like, I know I can draw my characters well, and I know I can convey a sense of energy, enthusiasm, happiness, sadness, etc., and do some really good backgrounds, but I was kind of in this mental block that it's like I have to draw it, or I have to color it traditionally, because the only way it's going to look good and the only way it's going to look legit is if it's done with Copics instead of working digitally. So working on this piece for the character and also the background, it really pushed me mentally, because it kind of showed me that, yeah, you can do some really cool digital stuff, Chris. Like, your digital work isn't terrible. You can make some really cool stuff if you just take the time to study and take the time to practice. And I can say, guys, that this illustration turned out amazing once I started working with the different blending modes and compositing some stuff, and just overall the entire process. Man, it was just a blast working on, and I can say that in this illustration, this is probably my best digital illustrations I've ever done in my entire life. And you know, it's cool to see that me studying Kohei is actually helping me, and it's not just, you know, a fan doing it because he loves My Hero Academia. It's actually like, you know, I'm incorporating his techniques and his experience in a way that works for me and can help my art flourish in its own way. So as for my final thoughts, like I said, I love the way the illustration turned out. Man, it's just, every time I look at it, I'm just like, man, did this really just happen? Like, did this really just happen? Because I wasn't expecting it to look that good. I mean, I know people are always like, oh, it looks amazing. But as an artist, for those of you that are artists as well, you know that when you draw something and you're like, it's not that good, everyone still thinks it's amazing, but you're deep down, you're just like, it's okay, it's not where I want it to be. But I could say in this illustration, it's definitely, I'm definitely proud of this one. I'm not, you know, gonna be like, oh, I wish it could be better. Like, I think right now, just where I am as an artist and as a manga artist, I think this is where I'm at. I'm not saying that I can't get better, because I want to still get way better, but I enjoyed this illustration. I definitely, it's showing my skill, and it's showing where I can go and where I can still kind of flourish, but also showing kind of where I'm at now and where I was in 2018 and now. Even though it seems like a long time for me, it's only been like maybe 2 years. So, or almost 3 now, because it's almost the end of 2021. So it's something like that involving math. But yeah, I definitely could say that I'm growing. I'm seeing the growth. And now that I'm physically seeing the growth in this image, it's inspired me to keep going and to keep practicing and pushing myself and pushing my art. So thank you guys so much for watching this video and listening to these tips. I hope this journey so far for episode 3 has helped you guys already. If you want to check out the first video on how I colored the character, the link is on the screen now. And if you want to support me on social media, the link is, all the links you could ever want are in the description of this video. So definitely go check them out. Follow me on Instagram. Show some support for this illustration. And I will catch you guys for the next video. Stay cool, stay drawing, and as always, keep it cool. I guess. Is that what I say? I guess. Peace, guys.